Hi, my name is Darren Joseph from HTJ.tax. We're the team that seeks to demystify that sometimes confusing world of international tax. Today we have the honor and privilege of speaking with Christophe. Christophe, can you please introduce yourself?
First of all, thank you for having me, Darren. So I'm Christophe Nomads. I'm a French citizen based in Singapore for over 10 years now. And I'm specializing in wealth management, exactly wealth protection and wealth mobility in gold investment.
Fantastic. The ideal is not just to actually just have one plan B, right? Maybe to have a plan C, D, E, depending on your situation, your industry, how exposed, where you physically located, your family, etc., right? What do you think about in curating and cultivating that portfolio of second residencies and citizenships?
In which sense, actually?
In the sense that, for example, and again, no one size fits all. What can work for one person may not work for another. For example, Paraguay. I'm a resident of Paraguay, and I do see it as a valid Plan B jurisdiction. I know that there are residential developments in Paraguay that are completely self-sufficient. They have their own water, they have their own food that's grown within the compound. They have the legal freedom to bear arms. They have their own landing strip for those who are wealthy enough to have their private planes and so on. But at the same time, I read United Nations reports. While relatively speaking, crime rate is low, to me, there's a bit of a risk because I see reports of the infiltration of Brazilian gangs into the Paraguay underground scene. I'm thinking, yes, to one extent, it can offer that plan B, but at the same time, one can't be complacent because you're a beautiful country, but in a potentially rough neighborhood, i.e. Latin America, because the crime situation in Latin America is a bit dicey. Even Ecuador, a few countries over, was relatively low risk. I've been to Ecuador. But then within recent years, because of issues with the FARC, etc., it's just exploded out of control. I just see Latin America being risky compared to, let's say, Mauritius. I'm also in the process of applying for residency, the advanced stages of my residency application for Mauritius. And I like Mauritius because it's an island. So if there's something dodgy next door, there's an ocean separating me from anybody in the neighborhood that may give me problems, right? Again, depending on your situation, you may want a Paraguay, but depending on your situation, you may be looking at a Mauritius, depending on how you assess it.
Also, it's saying depending on your situation, it's also depend on in which situation are you right now.
Right.
A situation of conflict, basically you will maybe want the closest place stable.
Yes.
Just look for a strong state and with some stability when you can rest a little bit and maybe prepare things, come back maybe or to your former country, but maybe you want to go so far. It will really depend on the situation. And there is also some things, it could be also cultural. For example, for people from the Caribbean, it will be easier to go to former colony, if I can say like that, like UK, France, and so on, because we can speak the language, we can have the same culture. So it will be easier, maybe Latin America, even if Latin America is very, very nice. So it will really depend of your situation and what are your bounds with each one. This is why we try to understand what is the needs, what are you looking for. Based on that, we can also understand which second citizenship is the best for you. Obviously, if you are saying I'm mostly tax-wise, it will not be the same jurisdiction that if you are saying I want a country where I can travel in Europe, for example, and then with Europe, it's not so tax-wise. Tax-wise efficiency is not the best one. This is dependent on the personal situation, and we have also to know that all this can evolve, right?
Yes.
All the time you can come up and say after now I've settled this, but now I'm thinking for a new project because this is life. I have a new project and maybe you can also accompany us on this new project.
That's it's a solid point. You may do a risk assessment at a given point in time and you may identify my portfolio. I want this region, I want this, I want that. but you need to keep an eye on it because the situation evolves. So, as an example, Ecuador, right? Ecuador used to be on a short list for many people, at least in our ecosystem, but it may be delisted because of things that evolve there. So you cultivate a portfolio, but you keep an eye and you constantly assess.
And this is why we have some people that will come straight away and say, I can do it. I have the wealth to do it. I will have straight away 9 passports. They do have 9 passports. The range of opportunity or options is, this is true, right? But after you can just also work by priority. This was my first priority. And after when I reach this priority, let's see for the second one. And we can work on that. And then the good thing is, we still are able to give you your wealth in these different locations.
Christophe, thank you very much for sharing some of your time and expertise. If people want to reach you, what's the best way to find you?
If you want to reach me, the best way will be on LinkedIn, also on our website, gold.com.
That's GAULD.com.
GAULD, exactly. Thank you, bro. GAULD.com. And AU is because this is the symbol of gold, actually.